This is the limitless Keith Lee.
This is Brody King.
This is Angel Garza.
Will Ospreay.
Hornswoggle.
Pentagon Jr.
The Mexican Rey Fenix.
King Ricochet.
Concrete Rose Sunny Kiss.
And I'm here to ask you to stop what you're doing, take just one moment, and bask in the glory of the Busted Wide Open.
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 Boston wide open.
Busted wide open. Thank you.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome everybody to BWO Live, coming to you from across the Busted Wide Open universe of Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. This is episode number 338. At some point, we're probably just going to stop counting. My name is Nick Howell.
And at this point, I'm waking up every day expecting to hear that I've also been fired by WWE. I am Sir Ian Dangerous. And yes, welcome to episode 338. And God damn it, we will keep counting until we get to 4 digits. God is my witness, Nick. We are keeping those numbers.
We're talking about like 6 to 8 more years at this rate.
Yeah.
Woo!
Welcome to the show, everybody. That's right. Today we are here to talk about Friday Night Smackdown, which of course just went off the air, as well as recapping NXT, which went down earlier this week. But we do have to start with some big news.
Yes.
I think you probably all have heard this by now, but we'll get to that in 1 second, Nick, because of course, before we do all the fun stuff, we have to do a little business.
Yes. As for all the newcomers that might not know yet, linktree.com/BWO. And for those of you that have been with us for a while, hey, head over there yourselves, click on the buttons, click the likes and the follows and the shares and the subscribes, and let everybody know about Busted Wide Open. We appreciate everybody sharing all the stuff. It's one of the best ways. Word of mouth and organic growth is one of the best ways to get more eyes and ears on the product. So we thank you guys that do all of that every single week. Much love. Help us grow. We really appreciate it. Linktree.com/BWO for all those. Special shout out to all of our patrons. Thank you guys so much for all of your contribution every single month. You guys are keeping the grease on the axles of the wheels of the Busted Wide Open show. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you guys. But Ian, we have a lot that we need to discuss before we get into the graps tonight. Unfortunately, we have to head over and discuss some big news.
So once again,
Hello,
it is
darkness,
that time.
my old friend.
It's time for people to be fired from WWE again. Yes, another list of people cut by WWE. They went to the main roster and no one said anything. And then they went to NXT and no one said anything. And finally they came for 205 Live. And then they came for me. No, they go to 205 Live for the most part with this one. Nick, couple more cuts in NXT as well. Tony Nese, one of the stalwarts of 205 Live, a man who has done everything WWE asked him to do. Tony Nese was finally cut. Sorry, pal. Arya Daivari also cut. Some really Kurt Stallion, who was just starting to get some traction, I thought. August Gray. Arturo Ruas, who you might have seen on Raw Underground once or twice.
It was his shining bright spot, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was the one time he actually showed up and looked really cool, and then they were like, hey, he looks cool. Okay, bye. Whatever, we don't need you. You can go along with the dancing girls. Speaking of dancing girls, Marina Shafir also cut by WWE. Haven't seen her be used in a while, so not really a big shock there. The Bollywood Boys. That's a bit of a shocker.
I thought they were doing backstage work and producing and stuff, like producing matches and stuff.
I don't know about that, but they were definitely doing a lot of work. I know that they were cut while training. They said that they had a great time in WWE, and it just shows, their dedication. They were cut while training. But yeah, Samir and Sunil Singh, they bye-bye. They're no more are they there. No more will Randy Orton have undersized people to toss around on the announce desk and then wince as their poor little corpses crumple behind the desk. They're gone. Also cut while training, while working out, Killian Dane. That's a crazy one. That stings. Everyone's got their one here that stings. Killian was definitely one that stings. I felt like he just was getting some momentum going. You know, he was doing something with Drake Maverick at least.
And Hit Row.
In NXT. And Hit Row. A bunch of things. And Imperium.
Yeah.
And you know who else Imperium was having something with? Breezango. Tyler Breeze and Fandango. They just beat Imperium, and Imperium was told they had to beat them to get into Walter's favor. And then Breezango is fired, so now Imperium will never get that win back, and they look like goofballs. Ouch. I mean, it actually shows a lot how the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing here. They're cutting people in the middle of programs. They're looking at this in terms of numbers and paperwork and not in terms of their actual product.
Because that's how corporations work.
Exactly.
And it's rumored that Nick Khan also had a big hand and a say in these today. And it's what I've been saying for a few months now, guys. There's going to be somebody else besides Vince at the top of that ivory tower sometime soon, and it looks like it's going to be Nick Khan.
And he's got the bloody red pen, and he's going to sit there and be like, I don't care who these people are or what they're doing. They're costing us money, and they're gone. So, and they're gone. And Everrise, who are in the middle of doing things on NXT right now, too. And frankly, I thought we're starting to get a little bit of traction with their new really fun gimmick. That was actually kind of like a version of Breezango, like another comedy gimmick. They're gone now, too. So, sorry, guys. Goodbye. Bye to all of them. We hardly knew ye. So, and of course, the final name is Kenise Mobley, who you probably never heard of. She's a writer for WWE. And ironically, she's probably never heard of any of the people that I just named off, because she admitted on a podcast that she was a writer who was hired because she didn't know a damn thing about wrestling. And when asked, she couldn't name who the WWE champion was. Of course, it is Bobby Lashley. Obviously, those comments got out, and she was released as well. Not too surprising. Just whatever you want to say about WWE aside, it's probably best not to go and make your company look like a fool, no matter what business you're in.
What was the lady that that parted ways that was, I'll do air quotes and say responsible for the Lana Lashley feud stuff? She was a TV writer or something. She also was not familiar with WWE, if I remember
There was
right.
not a wrestling, right? Yeah, did not know wrestling. And there is a logic to that. There's a logic to not having your writers be marks for your, like, they're not going to push their specific
bias,
people.
no
They're
agenda,
not gonna,
none of that, yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to spend their entire time trying to get, like, oh, I love that one time with the beer truck. Let's try to do that. But there is, you know what I mean? But
Let's
there,
make
but
Jackson
there is
Riker WWE champion.
Exactly. This is why they don't hire Nick as a writer. But this is the point, though, is that there's a happy middle ground. You've got to have people who give somewhat of a crap about the business, or just know a basic idea of what the business is, to actually get a good product. You know, you can look at someone, say, let's pick a name out of the air, and say Tony Khan, someone who is an admitted mark for wrestling, and he's doing a product in AEW that is, whether you like it or not, definitely very steeped in classic wrestling tropes and moments and style. He knows what wrestling is, so he knows how to replicate it. So it's, I would argue that you shouldn't have an entire writer staff that doesn't know what the product is. You've got to have people, and I think they're assuming, well, the higher ups, the producers, the agents will know what the product is. You know, we're going to have people that are writing for us, writing the speeches that don't need to know.
How much of that do you think contributes to Vince tearing up the scripts an hour before shows and rewriting stuff? I'm not saying.
I don't think it's.
But I'm
not saying it's 0%. I'm not saying it's 0%. I definitely think it's probably in the double digits.
I hate to be laughing about stuff like this and cracking jokes and all of that stuff, but it's gotten to the point of silliness now, where it feels like we're doing this, especially recently. This is like the third time in the last couple of months we've talked about this. And then we had the huge WWE gate last year with all the huge big releases. So
remember that huge bloated, the really bloated roster we were talking about 2 years ago? No more. Now we're literally desperate for women on SmackDown. Now we're looking at the tag team division NXT and going, is it full enough? They're having to rebuild from within. They're taking single stars out of other parts of the product to try to make tag teams to make things happen. They're having, we'll talk about it on SmackDown. They're having to just announce women they're saying it's an 8-woman Money in the Bank ladder match. I don't even know if they have 8 women they can put in that match.
It's
right
rumored.
now.
I guess it's confirmed at this point. Shotzi and Scarlett from NXT both doing dark matches. I think before SmackDown tonight. I can't remember the other ones that I heard of. I mean, it feels like it's all over the place. Is kind of what I'm getting at. Is like nobody really has a plan. And that's the thing that scares me is when Vince is left to his own devices, most of the time he doesn't really pull it off. And if there's not a plan, there's some exceptions, sure. But I mean, if there's not a plan and we're just kind of, let them go have a dark match and let's make them a tag team and let's put her in Money in the Bank. I
actually argue the more against the wall their backs are, the better the product is. Because they're willing to try more outrageous stuff. They're willing to try more different stuff. They're willing to do more out of the box thinking.
Sure.
And I feel like when they feel like they can just put it into neutral and just glide and just kind of throw things in front of the car and see what hits and sticks to the windshield, that's when things get bad. Which brings us, Nick, to this week's Friday Night Smackdown.
Well, let me do some catching up real quick here. Kyle Cotton at the top of the show threw in 250 bits. Thank you very much, sir. Said, before we get started, I feel the need to cry out in heartbreaking pain. And feel free to join me, gentlemen. Ever-Rise rules!
Ever-Rise rules. Yeah, that one stung. They were just getting quite over with me.
They were just getting to that point where I was like, okay, there's something here. Let's do something with these guys. No.
Yeah, they were always good, and they were just getting great. And then gone. That one's
Kyle threw in another 100 bits, said, last name actually Tino Sabatelli. Again, broke during SmackDown. So Tino Sabatelli joins Cesar Bononi, former cohort.
The mole. The guy who was widely rumored to have been the mole that went to AEW for a tryout and then was like reporting stuff. And so he went back to WWE and the WWE canned him again. So just oof.
They just keep coming. The Foy UK. Thank you for the 100 bits. That's so pissed off about Ever-Rise. They were the bushwhackers, the headbangers, too cool. You need those entertaining guys who won't be the top guys, but who are highly entertaining and put your top guys over. I loved Ever-Rise.
They were Breezango.
Yeah.
I mean, think about a few years ago we had Fashion Files, which was at the time a very dark period in SmackDown, and it was the most entertaining thing on SmackDown. And then it just got bushwhacked, to steal a word you just used. And they got sent back to NXT. And we were actually talking, Nick, about how they just both seemed like they were just kind of showing up for a paycheck. I'm actually saddened, but not surprised that they're gone. It was just weird. We both said it was weird that they beat Imperium last week.
Yeah.
That was bizarre booking. And now it seems even more bizarre. And Imperium, they feel like the death knell. They're like the Grim Reapers. They go around. They have a thing with Killian Dane. He's gone. They have a thing with Alexander Wolf, he's gone. They have a thing with Breezango. They're gone. Y'all stay away from Imperium, man. Walter's got some stroke.
Thank you, the boy, for the bits. Kyle threw another 100 bits. Said, my greatest fear with this Shotzi news is they'll stick her with Liv and never push her again.
She looks a lot like Ruby Riott.
I have a hunch they're going. Yeah, she looks just like Ruby, just with long hair and a bigger voice. Yeah, she's like a new Ruby Riott. I have a hunch they're going to end up in the ladder match. Money in the Bank ladder match.
I mean, it would help explain where the extra spots are coming from.
Yeah. Thank you, Kyle, for all the bits, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, brother.
Yeah, kicking off SmackDown, it's as you put in here, as the Samoans turn, the soap opera continues.
Samoans turn. The weekly soap opera on SmackDown. As the Samoans turn. That's right. What's happening with the bloodline this week? Let's see. Jay didn't come to work, Nick. Once again, Jimmy shows up. I know. The right-hand man is at home. He's not there anymore. So the left-hand man, Jimmy Uso, is there to say, hey, yo, Roman, finally got through to him. He says he's not coming to work. And Roman was furious about this, saying, I've made him main event Jey Uso. I made him the right-hand man. And this is how he repays me. This little rat. And then Jimmy says, well, I'm here, man. Like, we still got beef.
Still ain't
I'm nobody's bitch.
but I got your back.
Yeah, but I got your back. I'm nobody's bitch, but I'll be your bitch if you want. And Roman says, yeah, well, we'll see about that. And Jimmy doesn't know what to do with this. Later on, he confronts Paul Heyman, and he says, Paul, what's Roman going on about? And Paul's like, well, see, in this family, we're winners. And if you want to be the right-hand man, you got to prove that you're a winner. So I'll set you up a match, but here's the thing. You got to win, because if you don't, ellipsis, leaves it hanging, takes off, and Jimmy's sitting there going, oh, what do you mean if I don't win? And later on, we have a match, and it's Jimmy Uso versus Dolph Ziggler.
To keep it in Godfather terms, you got to earn. You got to earn.
Got to earn your spot. Got to earn your spot in the family. And later on, he's got a match with Dolph Ziggler, who we knew was free. We know Dolph wasn't doing anything. Unless he's out on a comedy tour, which, he's free. He's got nothing else to do. So Dolph Ziggler versus Jimmy Uso. Fun little match, of course, because Dolph is a damn pro. He's a professional. He puts on a great match, and so is Jimmy. It's a fun little match. I got to say, Nick, dude, there was one spot in this match that I actually stood up and walked around my apartment because I got sympathy twinges for it. Dolph goes for a zigzag. They're outside the ring. Jimmy does this amazing dive through the ropes, suicide dive, knocks Robert Roode, who of course is ringside, over the announce desk, clears him out, turns around. Dolph Ziggler zigzags him into the stairs. But it's kind of an ugly zigzag.
Right on the corner.
And he doesn't hit it flush. He hits it like kind of in between the corners and then just goes just on his back down the corners of those stairs to the ground. And I just, that looked like it hurt so bad. Oh, his selling on the ground. I couldn't tell. I don't know if it was real or not. It was ouch. It was ouchy. But ultimately, he does pull off the match and wins and goes backstage because Roman's going to have a State of the Universal Championship address for the real main event of the show. And he says, hey, yo, Roman, I won. And Roman goes, yeah, cool and shit. And he goes, I just
His
leaves
music
him
hits
hanging
and he
there.
just walks out.
Yep. Like, all right.
And Jimmy tries to go with him, and he's like, nah.
And Paul's like, maybe, yeah, nah. Just stay here. So they both go to the ring, and Roman gives the State of the Universal Championship address, which is Paul Heyman speaking essentially and saying, like, I'm not a perfect man, but one thing I'm really good at is talking. So let me talk at you, to steal a line from L.A. Knight. He says, let's see, we scared off the Fiend. What did he use? We shoveled dirt on Strowman. Talked about Strowman. We KO'd KO. We stacked and pinned and emasculated Daniel Bryan and Edge at WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan came back for more. Now he's gone. And then most recently, of course, we sent the Mysterios to the hospital and Cesaro back down into a mid-card feud. Is there no one else? And of course, the answer is no. There's no one else. Roman has essentially taken out their depleted roster entirely because they haven't built up anybody to be on Roman's level. So as Roman is basically saying, yeah, I'm basically the man. I will hold this title in perpetuity. K, cool, bye. That's your SmackDown. Cue Edge's music.
You know me.
You think you know me. And out comes Edge looking very upset.
Very swole, too. He was puffed up.
He's been hanging out with Sheamus. He's been put on some beef. Put on some meat.
It's amazing what you can do in 3 months.
Yeah, I tell you. He's still mad. You still mad, Edge? You still mad?
Letting the beard grow out, too. I dig it. I like it.
He looks scary. He looks scary. Tackled Roman. They tussled for a little while. Ultimately, Edge chased him from the ring and said, Jimmy came out to try and break it up, try and save Roman. And Edge just said, okay, I got next. I'm back.
And I think they made a miscut here because they cut to the top of the ramp with Roman like kind of bent over and huffing and puffing and selling with Paul Heyman. Yeah. And Edge goes straight to hard cam and goes, "I'm right here, Roman." It's like he's up there, dude. Like he's right there.
No,
Why are you looking at this?
He's right there. I'm right here, Roman. Yeah, he knows. He's at the top of the ramp.
Yeah, he can hear you. You just beat his ass and put almost concerto.
Yes, I think he figured that out, Edge. Thank you. The beard's too big. He couldn't see around the beard. So all right. So two things here. Jimmy Uso getting in Roman's good graces. Bit of a long, slow burn with as the Samoans turn. I'm not mad at it. They, as they say, they're cooking a steak here. They're taking their time. Could go a little faster, but I'm not mad at it. But Edge coming back to be the next contender for Roman Reigns. One-on-one. We had Daniel Bryan. Now we have one-on-one Edge. Thoughts?
Not terribly mad at it. I think they let it die along. They let it go away long enough for us to forget that it happened. I mean, there were even people in the Discord that were saying, "Why is Edge here? If he was, if they had people for Roman, they wouldn't need Edge there." And I'm like, no, this actually is long-term storytelling. This goes back to 5-6 months ago. So I'm not terribly... Listen, we give them shit all the time about not doing long-term, but this is kind of long-term storytelling. It's as good as they could possibly do with what they've got going on with Roman right now. It's a guy coming back to get some vengeance, and that's always can make a good story, but it's Edge.
Okay, fine, but that begs the question, Nick. What do they do after Edge?
I've been saying it for a couple of months now. It's going to be Drew in the draft.
Okay. So they're basically just killing time until the draft happens. All right. Because Seth Rollins also threw his name in the hat early in the night. Oh. It just, to me, Edge came out and I just kind of went, huh.
Yeah.
Okay. It didn't, I'm sure for some people it did elicit that like, ooh, cool reaction. But as you said, we just saw this feud before WrestleMania. And then it turned into Daniel Bryan inserting himself. But this was the feud. And now to go back to this feud, unless you add something new, which they didn't, this feels like going backwards. It feels like treading water. And I feel like they have to add something new to this. There's a new twist, a new turn that has to come into this to make this exciting again.
Does Roman have to put down all of his predecessors to be fully anointed as the next guy? Does he have to take out Edge and Daniel Bryan and Cena and like Undertaker? I'm not gonna say Undertaker's coming back, but we're never writing that off. You know what I mean? But does he have to somehow put down all of all the people that carried the title before him or a title world championship before him in order to fully reach the status of where they want to get him ultimately?
The real question you have to ask here, Nick, is how many times does he have to goddamn do it? He's already put Edge down, albeit in a triple threat. He's already put down Cena, and now they're rumoring Cena might come back for SummerSlam to face Roman. Why? Cena got left in the negative zone in the Fiend's Funhouse.
He's got a movie coming out.
Roman's already
came out today that's going to make $1 billion. He doesn't need wrestling anymore.
No. And nor does he need to come back for a feud he's going to lose.
Right.
He already lost a feud to Roman. Right. Now, granted, they could have a better feud. Last time, Roman got absolutely murdered on the mic by Cena, whereas now I think Roman could actually stand a chance at looking cooler than Cena, and that's the only reason I can think to run it back is to just make Roman look cooler this time. Aside from that, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
And besides, who else is there? Just across all of it. Like, as you said, it's just Drew.
It's just Drew.
And then Brock, you could bring Brock back, but big deal. Brock comes back. Maybe Roman beats him. Then what? Then what after that? You don't have another group of people who can get on that level and be contenders. They haven't built contenders for people that are built like Brock, that are built like Roman, that are built like, well, they've done actually, I think, a pretty good job of making Drew fall back a little bit. And they've got, crazily enough, as much as we crap on Raw for being a lesser show, you've got about 10 guys that on any given Monday can go and face the champion there and feel like legitimate contenders. You have a whole crew of guys over there who can do it. SmackDown, nothing.
I'll
run
throw
through
Big E as a wild card in there in the conversation.
wild card. They definitely they've got to work
they
on him.
gave Cesaro a chance. You got to give Big E a shot before the end of the year, I think. He's got enough heat right now where he could have and he's good enough on the mic to go toe-to-toe with Roman. I don't think he would win it, and it wouldn't be good for his career.
Cesaro's a great example. Yeah. No, Cesaro's a great example. They gave him half a shot. He got dissed by Roman as not being ready and sent back down into a feud with Seth Rollins, indicating that he's not ready. And then he lost the last match in that feud. And then lost again tonight in a match, but he wasn't pinned, but he lost. So
and then Seth goes backstage and says he wants to be the next one.
Right. So you could have had Cesaro built up to be a contender for Roman. But they didn't do that.
Seth's the one we're not talking about.
But Seth's also a heel. He's not in a character that's built to face him either. Who are people going to cheer for?
Yeah. I honestly don't know that they care.
They want to cheer for Roman, but I don't know if they want people to cheer for Roman yet. It's a pickle.
Yeah, it is. Let me catch up a little bit. Kyle threw in 100 bits, said Heyman was channeling Brando and talking with Jimmy on this show.
Fully.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They've been channeling mob movies since day one with this whole thing.
I threw it in.
And Paul is a straight consigliere over here, man. Come on.
Yeah, just not quite as good as Robert Duvall. Kyle threw in another 100 bits, said, Where are you Roman at, Roman? Me at home. He's just up the ramp edge. Why are you yelling at me through the hard cam?
Right.
Josh Logan, resubscribe with the Twitch Prime.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir, for 8 months. That means you get a little good. Oh, little chicken. Thank you very much, Josh. Welcome back, man. So enough talking about the contenders. Where does it go from here? I mean, I half-heartedly predicted this, unfortunately, that he was going to hold the title. I didn't think they would be decimating the roster, having the entire top of the card lay down for him, and I didn't anticipate this. I didn't anticipate how we got here.
You were the one saying he's going to hold it for years.
Yeah.
How do you think he's going to do that? How else do you think that was going to happen?
Brock style, not actually having as many matches, but he's out there actually chumping everybody.
Of course, because Brock is an anomaly, and also we hated when Brock did that.
I thought he would weasel his way out of actually having any defenses somehow.
But I like the fact that Roman is actually defending regularly on pay-per-views, but he's not going out there and having matches. Yeah. He's getting physical, but you have the Usos who are kind of running interference on that. But that trope's going to get real old real quick, just like Brock comes in, has a match, kills a guy in 9 minutes, and leaves for 3 months. Absentee champ. That's going to get real old real quick,
yeah.
too.
So I don't know. I mean, the best thing they could do is come over and start a long-term program with Drew and kind of reset Drew with Roman. It's run its course with Bobby, change it up. But I think you bring fans back, you get one shot to anoint and reset with Drew with Roman later this year. Other than that, I don't know, man.
That's if hashtag Nick booking happens. Keep in mind.
See.
If they don't bring over Drew, like let's take that out of the equation. Then what do they do?
Well, you're gonna do a long-term program with Seth and flip one of them face? Flip Seth back to face Rollins?
Personally, I think not only is it might it be time, they might need Seth face, and frankly, with Becky Lynch supposedly coming back soon, if not at SummerSlam, then maybe
I heard
before.
SummerSlam rumor, but
yeah,
it'd be time.
I'm just saying. I mean, the last time that Seth and Becky were a team, it was a little bit oof. Remember when they had the feud with Baron Corbin and Lacey?
No, I scrubbed that out of my head.
Yeah, it was bad. Maybe they can do something better. But the bottom line is it's while the Edge program should be exciting and fun, it does also, I think, reek of desperation a little bit. And I feel that they're going to have to be careful because they don't really have anything. Once Edge is gone, Paul's point is really well taken. There really is very little else for Roman to do.
True.
Speaking of Seth Rollins and Cesaro, both people who they could build to have programs with Roman if they really were interested in doing so, they're busy off having a mixed tag match with Bianca Belair and Bayley, who inexplicably, after having a Hell in a Cell match, are still having a feud.
The sound of the thuds you hear is me banging my head on the microphone.
The sound of my voice cracking is because I've been yelling all week.
Yeah, welcome back to real life, Sir Ian Dangerous.
Jesus Christ.
It's been a nice
Bars
year and a half off,
busy.
right?
California opened up again, and my God, people wanted to apparently come out to bars because I have not had a voice for 2 or 3 days now. And yelling at the screen for SmackDown is not helping. Bianca comes out to say, that's right, I beat Bayley, and if you're a little girl who's got bullies, you can beat your Bayley too.
We're doing bullies again.
Oh, yeah, because
awesome.
Be a star. Be a star, WWE. Okay. And then Bayley comes out to say, I'm not done with you, Bianca. Actually, see, Seth comes out first to say, congratulations, Bianca. Great. I beat my bully too. I beat Cesaro. And Bianca was like, what the hell are you talking about? And then Bayley comes out and jumps Bianca. And then mixed tag match. Okay, cool. And ultimately, Bianca runs into Seth Rollins and then eats a pin from Bayley. So now Bayley has a reason to say, see, I pinned the champ again. Couldn't do it in a Hell in a Cell straight up. In a Hell in a Cell. So now we're going to go back to a straight wrestling match. Awesome. Why? Because there's no one else. Sasha's out for a while. The 2 other women in the division are fighting over who's going to be in the Money in the Bank and who's the prettiest woman on WWE. And the other 2 women on SmackDown are the tag team champs. Nice. Well thought out. Well thought out, guys. Well done, Nick Khan, or whoever fired Ruby Riott and everyone else on SmackDown. Well played. Well played. Left yourself a lot of toys to work with here. Great. So Bianca and Bayley getting run back again. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Waste of talent. Seth and Cesaro still having
You've got to find somebody else besides Bayley that can submit Bianca. She's got to beat more than one person.
Yeah. 2 if you include Sasha, but she beat her once. Whereas she and Bayley have been... Yeah, right. One wonders when Sasha will come back. But also, we spoke about Money in the Bank qualifiers. There was a Money in the Bank qualifier for both the men and the women. For the men, it was Big E and Apollo Crews. Inexplicably enough, that your Intercontinental Champion would get a shot at Money in the Bank when you still have other people on the roster who could possibly qualify. Hashtag WWE logic. This is also a long-term feud that has long since lost any fire whatsoever because it was openly admitted that they had no idea where the feud was going to go when they started it. So it started like hot fire and then quickly just spun into nothing. But luckily, Big E told us before this match, Nick, this is the last one. We getting this done, and then we getting back focused again. Thank you, Big E. Okay, glad to hear that. Nick, would you like to announce to everybody who was kicked out from ringside close to the end of this match?
Commander Aziz!
That's right. Commander Aziz was kicked out of ringside late in the match. Immediately after Big E hit the big ending on Apollo Crews. Nick's voice is also suspect. And that was it. That was the match. It was fine. They've had some big bangers. This was not one of them. It was just fine.
Oh, by the way, Jay reminded me, Sasha Banks I don't think she's hurt. She's out filming the new season of Mandalorian.
Correct.
I think they're getting a big, that group is getting a big focus.
Yeah. She was actually...
Starfire, I can't remember, Starbuck.
There was a push.
Whoever that is. Well, I can't remember, never remember her name. Battlestar Galactica Starbuck. What's her name?
Oh, in the show? Oh, man, I don't know.
That actress. I can't remember her name.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I saw Chris Cornell with her one time. It's cool.
Nice.
Anyway, Money in the Bank. Big E is going to the Money in the Bank. He will be joining the rest of the men from Raw. Will be 4 of them. Now it's only 3. So Big E's going to be in Money in the Bank, which I don't know about you, Nick. That makes me pull on what little stubble thing I have for a beard.
Big E is Mr. Money in the Bank. Okay, you have my attention.
You have
it's like I was saying earlier, Big E's one of the few face men left on the SmackDown roster for Roman. That could be part of the whole thing. Sure.
That would be a really good call. Put it on him, I think. And meanwhile, Sami Zayn was gloating about how he beat Kevin Owens at Hell in a Cell, and so they should just give him the briefcase. They shouldn't have to qualify. Just get the briefcase. And he was informed that, no, you're going to have a last man standing match with Kevin Owens next week to determine which one of you is going to be in this ladder match. Personally, I think they both should be in.
Apollo and Big E?
No, Big E, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. I mean, that would be the karmic thing to do.
Yeah, put all
Karma would indicate that you should be doing that. I mean, I'm totally following Sami on this. Like, karma is really the rule here, and I think Sami's karma is very good. Should be in this match.
Okay.
Just
who doesn't want El Generico in a ladder match?
Who doesn't want both of these guys in a ladder match? Instead, we're getting a last man standing match next week, and only one of them's going to be in. And I think we both know who's going to win that because Sami just wanted the pay-per-view, y'all.
KO.
But Sami was really hilarious there when he was talking about how it was just the ways of the cosmos. Sami's on another level right now. I'm loving him. The men have to qualify. The women on SmackDown just get told they're in the match. Because
why have qualifications when there's just two ladies? Just
there's
put them both in.
You don't have to just throw them in there.
And the best thing that they could come up with for a gimmick was to dispute who was the most beautiful woman in WWE. That's the best thing they could come up with.
Welcome back, 2009. We hardly knew ye. That being said, I do like the little subtle thing here, Nick. Sonya Deville comes out to the ring and just announces, hey, so someone's really deserving of being in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and that person is Carmella. And Carmella comes out to the ring, and she says, congratulations, Carmella, you're in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Which is really, Sonya Deville granting favor to hot blondes and her having an obsessive thing with hot blondes after the whole Mandy thing, I think is a really nice bit of subtle storytelling. I don't think it's intentional. I just think it's a really cool bit of subtle storytelling if you look for it. Like with Charlotte.
What's the story?
Carmella.
Forgive me.
She's obsessed with hot blondes. She's just like arbitrarily promoting hot blondes. She's just letting Charlotte back into the scene. She's just arbitrarily putting Carmella in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Ex-relationship with Mandy Rose. Yeah.
Ever since this whole Mandy thing, Sonya's got a type. I'm just saying, little bit of favoritism.
Her and Vince might have in common.
Oh my
I'm
God!
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Sonya Deville is the Vince analog. You think she eats steak wraps with ketchup?
Don't sneeze in front of her.
Don't. She hates it. She hates it, pal.
Hey, Kyle 300 bit said Bianca was completely outclassed and embarrassed in the promo segment before the match, and frankly, this bully nonsense with the narrative dissonance of Bianca being the first always to get violent and actually do something that constitutes bully throughout this scripted phony Bianca is in the same hate doghouse I have Cody Rhodes and Brandy in. This is the inverse problem they have with Rhea. They know what they want to do, and it's completely failing and hurting your new face.
That being said, anytime that Bianca wants to instigate and take off her hoops first, and she like Bailey just slaps her and she goes, start taking out the hoops, I'm automatically that pops me every time. I'm like, oh, here it comes.
Yep.
You don't want her taking off the hoops,
girl. The Foy UK gifted a tier 1 sub to IndieGal1218. Thank you very much, nice. Foy. IndieGal, make sure you thank the Foy for your gift sub. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you, Foy. Appreciate it.
What else was I going to say about this? Ultimately, do both of them end up? I mean, Liv ended up getting the win here. Well, this is the
interesting thing. Liv comes out and says, why does Carmella just get qualified and I don't get a shot at this? I've beaten her last week. And she comes in the ring and slaps Carmella in the face. And Sonya Deville goes, you make a good point. And you're also kind of blonde. You know what? Let's have a match here between the two of you. And whoever wins might get a shot at Money in the Bank. So they have a match. Liv wins again with a nice little roll-up counter. It was a nice little match. And Liv wins again. But then, inexplicably, isn't put into the Money in the Bank ladder match. They're just like, well, I bet that gets her closer to being in that match. Like, that should put her in the match. Where did the stakes go in this? Weren't the stakes? Were not the stakes for this match? If it's a Money in the Bank
qualifier match, the winner of the match is qualified for Money in the Bank. This is not rocket science.
Was it a qualifier? Like that? Did Sonya ever say it? I don't think she ever said it was a qualifier.
I guess she just came out to announce that Carmella would just be in the match.
And yeah, Liv, you can fight her, and I'll think about you being in the match.
Liv's going to be in the match. Of course she's going to be in the match. Who the hell else have they got? Vacant?
I don't know if Liv's going to be in the match.
Is Vacant going to compete in the Money in the Bank women's ladder match?
I mean, Liv's getting TV time by attrition here,
That's
Nick.
true. I mean, good for her.
I guess. I hope she's in. I think she started to do enough work to earn it.
She has for the last couple of years, ever since the Lana Lashley shit.
Yeah.
They made her come out and do some bisexual thing, lesbian angle with Lana.
All right. I was there. I remember. I still wake up cold, sweat in the middle of the night. Oh, God. Lana Lashley. I
don't want to hear it. You were on this show talking about, well, actually, it's actually kind of good. It's what wrong. Just trying to justify it somehow. It was crap.
Trying to find the nuggets of corn in the pile of shit week to week. And there was some weeks where it was in that like trashy Jerry Springer 90s Attitude Era level of like fun chaos. But I was like, all right, this was at least somewhat entertaining. I was just trying to get through it, man.
You
were there too.
Yeah, I know. Shitting on it is every single time I could. Looking at Liv and Carmella, are either of them? Carmella's had it twice via scurrilous means. We'll call it twice. Does Liv have a shot? No.
Not enough. She's lucky she's on TV right now. I'm shocked she's getting wins on Carmella. I think it's great, but let's not put the cart before the horse here. If Liv is in Money in the Bank, that's a win for Liv.
Sure.
Ain't no way she's winning that briefcase. No way. No. Not with the rest of the talents in there.
Yeah. Good point.
It's a win if she's in there. Just as it is a win for Shinsuke Nakamura to finally truly be the king of both Strong Style and SmackDown, because he had a coronation ceremony with a nice big throne in the middle of the ring, and Rick Boogs playing him to the ring in this beautiful white outfit that he had, and Rick Boogs just put a crown on his head, and they both danced into the camera and played guitar for a really uncomfortably long period of time. Those poor guys were forced to just, goof off and just do crazy shit into the camera while we cut to backstage, and poor Baron Corbin looking like a 5-year-old kid whose daddy just put his thumb in his pie. He was so sad.
I was going to say took his lollipop away, but
took his lollipop away and bonked him in the head with it on the way out, like, stupid kid. Walked away. Baron Corbin said, oh, you took my lollipop.
Are we back to Lone Wolf, pre-Constable Corbin, he might as well grow his hair back out at this point. What is he going to be doing now?
I don't know, man. He's going to become Crybaby Corbin? He cried last week when Nakamura beat him, and this week he almost cried when they were asking him, so what do you think about all this? And he's like, well, lost my crown, lost a lot of money in the stock market. Just everything sucks. I'm depressed. I'm Baron Corbin. I'm sad. I'm gonna go cry in a corner. I don't know what the hell this was, but Baron Corbin being all mopey and sad like a big kid, it was pretty funny.
What was the Eeyore?
He's sad,
the Eeyore now of or Snuffy, Snuffleupagus. Oh,
Snuffy. I think it's more Eeyore. Eeyore. I like that way better. Barry-Yor. Corbin.
Calder and 100 bed said it's weird the biggest star to come out the Lana and Lashley storyline is the extra playing the former Miss Lashley in Elektra Lopez.
Yeah. We'll talk about her on NXT.
The Fort UK threw in 100 bit said, all hail King Kingsuke. What were they? Kingsuke Nakamura. Thank you very much for the bits, guys.
Don't listen. WWE, we know you listen. Don't steal that one. Kingsuke Nakamura is stupid. Stick with King Shinsuke, King Nakamura. Stick with that. Or Shinsuke Nakamura, King of SmackDown. All those are good things.
Yes.
Kingsuke, no. But Barry-Yor Corbin, we can get behind.
So the last thing I wanted to ask you about.
It's time for SmackDown again.
Oh, bother.
Guess I gotta go out and wrestle. Oh, I'll probably just lose. Again. That's what I do. Lose. Okay. Thanks, Vince. Gosh.
What is
Go home and
Jay
cook a
off
steak.
doing right now? What happens when Jay comes back? Is Jimmy ever going to... We keep asking this every single week. Jimmy looks like he's giving impressions. He's going to turn the page. Do we get the Usos back into the SmackDown Tag Team Championship picture? Like, I have all these questions about where this is going to go.
All roads lead to Nick booking. When are they going to turn around and do the thing that I told y'all that they were going to do? What's all going on over here? And when do they do the thing that I want them to do? When the Usos be the tag champions. When does that happen? Well, I don't know. The Mysterios have to get out of the hospital first, Nick,
That's true.
and then we can cross
They
that.
need to stop being thrown, yeeted out of the ring by Roman Reigns.
Yes, indeed. See, they had some freeze frames on those yeets that were just amazing on the show tonight. Yeah, overall, I'd say it was a SmackDown. It wasn't bad. Nothing really to write home about.
Edge closing it out was a little bit exciting. It's better than just Roman just standing there with the belt again. As we've gone off the air for the last 27 weeks in a row.
Is there anyone else? No. Okay, everybody, that's your SmackDown. Thanks. Bye. Hey. No. So at least, yeah, there was some edge to goose things a little bit, and but again, it could have been better, and there was a lot of stuff that just felt like it was just there. The Big E and Apollo feud had kind of fizzled out, and then we just had a match, and okay, Big E's going on to Money in the Bank. Cool. The mixed tag match meant nothing. Yeah. Cool. Great. We're restarting Bayley and Bianca. Great.
And Seth and Cesaro potentially.
At least there was something interesting. Like I was like when the Carmella thing, when they just said, Carmella's in Money in the Bank, I was ready to flip a table. I was like, you got to be kidding me, guys. At least they made something out of that. So bright spot for SmackDown there.
Well, there's SmackDown, guys, but we're not done quite yet. We've still got to head over and do NXT.
Kyle O'Reilly.
Ooh, I had something. I want to jump in on you and say something else real quick between shows.
Okay.
On the mailbag episode earlier this week, I asked you to give me some anime to watch.
Yes.
I actually got my hands on a copy of Ninja Scroll, and I've downloaded Fist of the North Star, which I believe Jay recommended, and you guys worked out somehow. I got through about 20 minutes of Ninja Scroll, and I don't know, man. I'm gonna struggle bust through it this weekend, but
keep going.
They're ripping arms off and there's boobs in it, but I don't get it. Like that's the hardest. Like I want to get it and I don't get it. Like I feel like I'm watching something that I just don't get. So I wanted to give everybody a quick update that I stuck to my word. I'm giving it a shot. I'm trying to get through it, but it's one of those things that the funny thing is I immediately went over and turned on G.I. Joe cartoons and probably watched like 15 episodes because they're only about 12 minutes long. And I could just watch that all day.
So it might be an attention span thing.
Yeah, maybe. I'm really trying to just
Nick,
invest.
when you hear the words Omewa mo shinderu, if you don't get excited by that, you're a lost cause.
Fair enough. I will write it out. I will see it through.
And speaking of Omewa mo shinderu, Kushida versus Kyle O'Reilly. Whew. Only Kyle O'Reilly was not already dead. He was fighting for his very life. Nick, when Kushida first came to NXT,
I remember.
What was the one person I was like, I can't wait for him to face?
Kyle O'Reilly.
And it only faced once before back in New Japan. And it was sick. Well, this match was sick. It was about as close as you get to a worked shoot fight in NXT. The counters were just insane. It's a match you want to actually watch through the commercial breaks and picture because Kyle was putting some submission holds on Kushida that were like, it was like weird yoga.
Yeah, they look like a knot. They tied themselves in a knot.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Very, very fun match, all the way to the finish where it genuinely had no idea who was going to win. And even it looked like Kushida had Kyle in the hoverboard lock, and Kyle did a beautiful reversal into a leg lock pin and got the 3. And even the announcer said that just goes to show all you need to do is be able to trap the guy for 3 seconds. So Kyle O'Reilly beats Kushida, the cruiserweight champion. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Even more interesting is the fact that he immediately got jumped by Adam Cole, who supposedly had left earlier in the night after winning his match at the top of the show, which we'll talk about later on. Adam Cole jumps him. They go over the announce table. And meanwhile, back in the ring, Kushida's looking confused about what's going on when suddenly a hooded figure, I love those, a hooded figure, it is hood up in his hoodie, runs in and kicks the actual crap out of Kushida, followed by 2 more guys who were not hooded. You recognize one of them right away. It was Tyler Rust. The other one, you might not have recognized because he's mostly been a backstage guy. Hideki Suzuki, been working as a coach. And unless you watch some of the smaller Japanese promotions, you've probably never seen him before. But Suzuki he's a bad man. He's not Minoru Suzuki, but he's a bad man. The hooded figure uncovers his face, and it is none other than Roderick Strong. And Malcolm Bivens jumps in the ring and says, hey, y'all, you know those little commercials you've been seeing the last few weeks for Diamond Mine? This is Diamond Mine. New faction, y'all. New faction headed up by Malcolm Bivens Enterprises, Tyler Rust, Roderick Strong, and Hideki Suzuki. Nick, initial thoughts?
Very intriguing. See where it goes. Let's hope it has legs. There's a lot of factions in NXT right now. We love factions here at Busted Wide Open. I'm wondering if it's a little too saturated, though, right now. Between Legato and The Way. Like, there's a lot going on. Imperium, Hit Row. Like, there's a lot going on with factions right now.
I say there's never enough factions. Always good for more factions. Because you know why? You can do so many things with factions. Yep. You can have mixed match tag teams. You can have singles. And always you're going to have more aspects to work with. This is why I'm such a huge proponent of factions, why the main roster could use factions, why I love the New Japan faction system. There's always things to do with factions. Guys have been on TV in a while, have him be a corner man because he's out there for his faction, brother. You need to have run-ins, faction. I love it. And I love that these 3 guys are going to put on some bangers. And I think that it says in there called Diamond Mine because they all feel like diamonds in the rough, or the rust, if you will, which is a nice little nod, right? Diamond in the rust, Diamond Mine. There we go.
I love these guys getting paired together. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And welcome back, Roddy.
Welcome back, Roddy.
He's the one of the Undisputed Era that we hadn't seen since the split up. So,
we wondered what his role was going to be, and now we know. Still heel, which is good. I know you hate Roderick Strong when he's a face, so I think it's the right call. But here's the other thing I'm going to throw your way, Nick. Who was fired this week? Tony Nese, 205 Live. Arya Daivari, 205 Live. Everrise, 205 Live. Kurt Stallion, 205 Live. Bollywood Boys, 205 Live. August Gray, 205 Live. 205 Live got gutted. All these dudes could be on 205 Live. And they've been saying they want to kind of reboost their cruiserweight division. They went for the cruiserweight champion. This is their way of getting that cruiserweight division fired back up again.
Well, I think it's something I posited earlier this year is that, or somebody, it wasn't me, it was somebody else had said it, and I was like, oh yeah, the folding in and kind of eliminating 205 Live and just folding the cruiserweight division into NXT. And they've kind of done that with
they need
Santos
to let
and
205
Kushida
Live
now, and we don't need 205 Live. We've got just bolster the roster in NXT with those guys.
And they've got 2 hours.
Yeah.
You got 2 hours in NXT. And NXT was at its best when it was 1 hour. So just fold 205 Live in NXT. Let it die. It's that thing. That poor show has been dead for a long time. Now it's really dead. So yeah, just keep the cruiserweight division in NXT. They know what to do with it. They know how to put on proper cruiserweight match. Awesome. And then I think Tyler Russ is over 205 and Suzuki's right around there. But Roderick is definitely a 205 live
Totally.
guy, or he could be. But let's be clear. He could be a cruiserweight, not a 205 live guy. Because at this point, 205 live guys are kissing death.
Other than Karrion Kross, pretty much the entire men's division could be 205 live guys.
Hey, Adam Cole is 6'1" and 210 pounds, Nick.
Funny side story. I'm a big dude. I had to weigh the dog the other day. So how did we do that? I stood on the scale first, and then I picked up the dog and stood on the scale again. By the way, my puppy,
yeah,
is 40 pounds. She's eclipsed 40 pounds.
How old is she?
6 months.
Jesus.
40 pounds.
I think she's gonna be bigger. She's gonna be bigger than my boy.
Here's where the side story comes in. I weigh 215 pounds.
Right.
I'm a big dude. I'm thick. Adam Cole ain't nowhere near 210 pounds.
How do you only weigh 215? I weigh 208.
It's all gut.
Huh. You got calves. You got calves. You got those sailor.
I worked out a lot as a teenager.
You got sailor calves.
A lot of that stuff sticks around. So
it does indeed. It does indeed.
Anyway.
But we're not here to talk about our physiques.
BW official Keiko is growing up, y'all. She's not a puppy. I can barely pick her up anymore.
She's gonna be bigger than Dog Ziggler soon. Should O'Reilly have beaten Kushida here? It does give him a shot at the cruiserweight title.
I think in a non-title match, yes, I would have liked. I did like that he went over. I don't think my concern was that they were going to push him to the cruiserweight championship right away. But I also like the involvement in kind of introduction of this new faction in this, and it gives Kyle something else to battle with on his way to getting to Kushida, because you kind of got two faces working there, and this is going to be I'm fearful that this is going to be another one. Can they coexist? We're going to end up with Kyle O'Reilly and Kushida in tag matches with Diamond Mine.
And Roderick Strong, or Diamond Mine, or Roderick Strong and Adam Cole.
Right, and somehow they figure out how to get in there, and Kyle has to beat them in order to get his shot, and it's right. It can turn into a mess. But I trust NXT. I trust the way they do these kinds of things.
More often than not.
Yeah.
More often than not. Yes, I'll give you that. You got to do any catching up, or we can move on to the
We got some catching up to do. The Foy UK resubscribed with a Twitch Prime for 3 months. Thank you very much, the Foy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kyle Cotton threw in 100 bits, said Mobile Suit Gundam Stardust Memory. That's a mouthful. It's easy to get, Nick. I'm telling you, it's Top Gun with giant robots instead of planes with a terrorist plot by space Nazis. What?
You heard him. It's not hard to pick up.
Okay.
They do love their Top Gun.
Okay.
They do love their Top Gun in Japan.
By the way, Top Gun's coming July 4th. I'm very excited about that. Top Gun 2 or whatever.
Yep.
Finally, rest in peace,
put
Tony.
Tom Cruise in a plane. Put Tom Cruise in a plane for it.
Kyle threw another 100 bits, said between Diamond Mine being planned since December. I didn't know that. And Hit Row since at least TakeOver 31. NXT has been holding back ideas for a long time. That move to Tuesday night might have been set in stone since Super Tuesday last year with these long-term plans. Before the firings, I was going to say there's a wonderful ecosystem of talent to bounce everyone off of. Really excited for all this. I agree. We love factions. I think it's not a new rebirth in any way. I don't think until you get someone else besides Karrion Kross with the NXT Championship, but he just got it back.
He's going to lose it. They're going to call up the main roster.
They keep giving him dark matches. I mean, he's the biggest thing that they're going to mess up with Karrion is not give him the same entrance like they did with Keith and pull Scarlett, and he's going to be creator wrestler, generic looking guy. And it's going to be miserable, and he's going to hate life. But they can't leave him in NXT with the title for much longer, just eradicating the top of the card like that.
And it's going to be really weird if he comes in and eradicates everybody and then just loses and leaves, or lays it down and leaves. That would be bizarre. Or if he pulls a Kevin Owens and just kind of does double duty for a while. That'd be better.
I think that's what might happen.
Maybe.
Thank you, Kyle, for all the bits.
That would be a weird juxtaposition. Kevin Owens' entrance was just, and he comes out. But having Karrion Kross coming out on NXT with smoke and, video and darkness and all this huge entrance, and then coming out on main roster and you just get da 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 da, and he just walks down to the ring in his little gladiator trunks, and that's a completely different presentation. Would be very jarring. Very jarring.
It's not going to work on main roster.
It's not going to work at all. Almost as jarring as the idea of Johnny Gargano beating Karrion Kross for that title. Well, apparently Johnny thinks it's a good idea because Johnny came out to say, I'm the new #1 contender, because who better than Johnny Gargano?
Based on what?
It's his delusional mind. It's literally his character. He's like, I wear a headband. I should be champion. I got this big muscled up mook with me. I should be champion.
Duh, come on, boss.
Duh, come on, boss. You can't talk about me like that. I'm right here. Not you, the other guy. Oh, right, of course. That guy. Yeah, I hate him too. You're so funny, boss. Oh, Austin Theory.
I'm glad he's having fun, because I still think that dude is the chosen
so much
one.
Fun. Yeah, he could be. He's just deep into goofball land right now. Not deep in goofball land was the man who came out and said, "You what?" Pete Dunne comes out with Oni Lorcan to say, "You what?" You must be joking. He said he's the baddest man at NXT. There's no way that Johnny Gargano is going to be the #1 contender. You've got to be kidding me. And he goes to try to instigate stuff with Johnny Gargano, and Johnny, being the little hypocritical teacher's pet bastard that he is, goes, no. That's the new way around here. Joe's here now, so we got to be nice. There's no more instigating. I'm not going to be the instigator of things. I'm not going to get involved with this kind of nonsense. I want my #1 contendership match. I'm just going to lay down. Look, I'm going to lay down the microphone very nicely, and me and Austin are just going to take off. Only Austin couldn't just take off. He had to point at Pete Dunne, and so Pete Dunne broke his damn finger.
That was funny. Through the ring, through the ropes.
Just snapped his damn fingers. They go screaming off to the back. Going to Mr. Regal's office, Johnny brings him a replacement for the pencil that he broke the other day. And Regal goes, "Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. Yeah." And Johnny goes, "What are you going to do about Pete Dunne? You're gonna grab your knucks? You're going to knucks him? You're going to knuck him up?" And Regal goes, "No, actually, I'm going to give the two of you a tag team match against the two of them." And Johnny's like, "I'm not even in my gear." So they have to go out, and Austin Theory's got a broken hand. So they have to go have a match with Pete Dunne and Oni Lorcan later on in the show.
And I love how they made a comment. He was still putting his gear on as he was coming to the ring. I think Wade Barrett even called it out.
and Austin couldn't even put his on because his hand was broken.
Right.
He's like, oh, well, boss, I'm just going to throw my vest down the ring because I can't even put it on. I'm coming, boss. And of course, this match kicked ass.
Yeah. Oh, God, yes.
Just kicked ass.
All kinds of ass.
Jesus Christ. Very fun match. Ultimately, Gargano getting the win, pinning Oni Lorcan. So Johnny Gargano, possibly #1 contender to Karrion Kross?
I'd much rather see Pete Dunne.
Yeah, me too. I kind of think so too. I think Pete would be more of a legitimate guy to take it off of him. Like you could believably do it. Johnny, in his current character, I don't know if it's believable. No. You'd have to have all kinds of outside stuff happening to make it work. So if they're going to call Karrion up, they've got to find another thing to do.
Are they upset that, are you upset at all that Johnny's not going back after the North American Championship, or has he just moved on at this point?
I feel like there's a plan there as well. Also, they've got both goddamn men's champions being called up for dark matches. They're going to have to take titles off of both these guys. At least Bronson Reed is a guy sitting right there in Santos Escobar who deserves it and would be a great champion. Agreed. If you could find an interesting way to get the title on Johnny, having heel Johnny be champ would be interesting. And you could also go back to the idea that Johnny does not last long as champ and have him lose it right away. That'd be fun too. And he's a guy who you take a lot of the top of the roster. He fits better in the matches with them. So
I don't know. I'd flip the script on you there Johnny, and go put it on Pete Dunne and let Johnny try to chase him with all their little scurrilous ways between him and Austin Theory.
I'll flip it on you again and say, why don't you put it on Austin Theory?
Yes.
Like Austin accidentally wins it.
Even better. Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Like there's a whole kerfuffle. Pete Dunne and Johnny Gargano screw everything up, and somehow Austin Theory ends up like accidentally pinning Kross.
Well, I'm the champ. What?
What? And like Johnny's like weirdly jealous of him, but also like he's trying to defend him because at least the title's in the way, but he's also like weirdly pissed off at him. Like, a lot of entertaining TV there. Anyway, that's again, run at the flagpole. Take it if you want, NXT listeners. But yeah, that's another possibility.
Kyle threw in 100 bits, said, I laughed my ass off at Johnny in theory throughout the night. Johnny giving a replacement pencil had me dying. Yep, totally. Thank you, Kyle.
Anna's correcting me here.
Oh.
She's saying, it is not his boss, it's his dad. As far as I'm concerned, he calls him Papa John. I refuse to acknowledge a bad pizza pun.
Yeah.
Is the only problem.
You know what?
But yes,
there was a time when Papa John's was halfway decent. Like 20 years ago.
When it was like 2 stores and they actually gave a shit about the pizza?
I can just remember a time where I would order it once a week and I really enjoyed it.
We're not getting into this right now. Round table
20 years ago.
Round table for life. Is the male side of the way turning comedy face? The crowd was definitely cheering Johnny by the end of this match. Afterwards, Karrion Kross comes down, lays him out. Looked very facey. Looked like a comedy, like goofball comedy face kind of thing by the end of this match. Yeah. How would that work with the rest of the way, the women being heel still?
I don't know.
Do you think, or is just like, do you think it's temporary? What do you think they're doing here?
I think they probably follow along. I think they figure out a way to get the titles off of them and the tag titles and somehow follow along. Probably flip face as well. I don't know how they do it in the women's division though. That's tricky right now. I'm running down the list of things and there's not, like, you've got Shotzi and Ember.
And and Io and Zoe.
Io and Zoe, who we have to talk about from tonight.
Right now. Well, Io and Zoe were in a tag match. They don't like each other. Zoe likes Io just fine, but Io says, I don't like you, Zoe, but I do respect you. And Zoe said, well, I guess respect is good enough to win a match. So let's go fight this match. So they go out to face part of the Robert Stone brand, I guess all Jessica May and Aaliyah, who are still temporarily, I guess, in the Robert Stone brand, even though Frankie Monet is kind of in their ear saying, you know, we could totally call ourselves like the Winner's Circle. We could be like an awesome little faction of women. And they're like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And Robert Stone's like, hey, what y'all talking about? They're like, nothing. Here's a dog. Woo! Ah! Nice little comedy segment backstage. But Zoe Stark and Io Shirai against Jessi Kamea and Aaliyah. I'm not going to say it was the best worked match on the show.
It was all right.
I'll leave it at that. It was fine.
It was all right.
It was fine. Aaliyah has a sick Northern Lights suplex.
Oh, my God, yes. Up on her tippy toes.
Northern Lights. Beautiful. Beautiful.
That's like some Olympic wrestler shit right there.
Yeah. Jessica May is big. That's about it. Yeah, there are a couple spots here I felt like they were trying for something and then they just couldn't do it. Aaliyah tried to do like a rollover kip up and just like kind of fell on her butt.
As we say in the South, bless her heart.
Bless her heart. Bless her heart. Jessi tried to go for a springboard and just kind of like, I'm just going to do this from inside the ring instead. Forget it. It was fine. You know, don't try to do aerial shit around Io Shirai. It's not going to, you're not going to look good.
Or Zoe for that matter. So ultimately, of course, Zoe and Io do win this match. And afterwards, everyone else in the tag division comes out to say, hey, how's it go? Because the Way came out in the middle of this. And you had Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai come up from the back. And you had Shotzi and Ember come up from the stage. And Io and Zoe were in the ring kind of holding off everybody. And devolved into a huge tussle. Joe and his black shirts came out to break everything up. And we're getting a triple threat for the number 1 contendership next week. Who do you think of these three is going to get it and why? I honestly don't know.
I think it's going to be Io and Zoe because you have someone who can be pinned in Zoe. It's a fresh lineup we haven't seen before. We've seen the Way face both other teams, and this is something new. And it brings Io back to a major match, which we'd be seeing at Great American Bash.
That's true. That is true. Although I would think they would want to put Frankie over, so I'm wondering if Frankie gets involved with this somehow with Aaliyah and Jessica Mia. I don't know. That's an interesting one.
Look at that. I think it should be
one of those few times where I don't have some like automatic Nick booking in my head. I'm kind of drawing a blank here. I don't know what they're doing with the women's tag division right now. You still got Raquel and Dakota Kai still coming out saying that we want them back. You know, and Shotzi and Ember running out and so I don't know what's going on with the women's tag division. I don't have a good read on it right now.
It's crazy because a few months ago we were saying there's so many women in NXT, and now I'm like, there's not enough. Y'all need more tag teams. This is not a full division right now. You need I mean, they do have, I guess, their enhancement teams like Jesse and Aaliyah. I don't know. I guess now with Zoe and Io, but it feels like a temporary tag team.
Yeah,
it underscores to me how underwhelming the tag division is for the women.
True, and I don't want to see Zoe get lost in tag division land. She's too good.
And Io
had a really long reign. She's coasting and having fun right now. Zoe, hot up and coming blue chipper that I think I didn't mean to say blue chipper that should be competing at the top of the card. I really believe that. And
also
where's Tony?
Monkeying around the show, Frankie Monet. Where is Tony, Nick? You tell us. Speaking of blue chimpers, Frankie Monet was also monkeying around the show. She faced Elektra Lopez, former Mrs. Lashley, squash match. It was her world premiere encore. They just don't have anything for her right now. She'll end up leading this faction. That'll be pretty good. I like what they're doing so far. That's about that. A few more things on NXT. Adam Cole opened up the show by saying, hey, so Regal said I had to pick somebody to face. And you know what? Screw you. I'm Adam Cole. I don't have to pick anybody to face. This is my time. I do what I want with it. And he proceeded to go off and stay in the ring and talk about how great he was until along comes Carmelo Hayes. Brand new, second week on the show. And he says, you don't know me, but I know you, Adam Cole. And I'm here to make my impression felt in a classic fashion with ruthless aggression. And he slaps Adam Cole in the face. He goes, yeah, it's that energy. We have a nice little match between Carmelo Hayes and Adam Cole. Adam Cole sold a lot for him, including after finally beating him with a nice Panama Sunrise that Carmelo just planted himself and then pushed up vertically to just spike himself vertically with, oh, God, incredible sell.
Awesome.
Ridiculous. Like rock level sell of the Panama Sunrise. But Adam Cole was then sitting on the ground looking at him like he couldn't believe the fight in this kid. Really gave a lot to Carmelo. It was a very generous match from Adam Cole. After which he was confronted by Regal and told he was leaving, and then we saw it happen in the main event. But Carmelo Hayes getting some big spots feels like kind of the male version of what they're doing with Zoe Stark. They obviously have plans for him, and the man is perfect for a revitalized cruiserweight division, Nick. Totally perfect. Could be huge. Also, a guy who's been in the cruiserweight division before, Jake Atlas. He came to save Mercedes Martinez, who was getting beat up by Tian Sha. Mercedes apparently had been booked in a handicap match, intergender match. I guess it was a straight intergender match, but she had to pick somebody to help her. It was easy for her because as she was getting beaten up, she was saved by a guy. So now she has a guy to team with next week. Yeah, very nice. So Boa and Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez and Jake Atlas next week.
Okay.
That should be a nice little match. I want to see what Boa can do. So we haven't yet. So I think that's a good call. Couple more things. Sitting poolside with his $1 million belt around his waist and beautiful women bringing him champagne. Of course, L.A. Knight is your new $1 million champion. He gloated about it. Meanwhile, Cameron Grimes is rolling up in his Royce, and he's being a lot nicer, Nick. He's handing guys tips and being like, hey, man, good to see you. Here's $100. Here's $100. And when some whippersnapper comes up with weird colored hair and says, how's the old man doing? I heard you've been hanging in the hospital. Stupid Ted DiBiase. Cameron smacks him in the mouth and said, don't you talk that way about Ted. Here's a $100 bill. And he goes back inside.
It reminded me of the thing when he threw a wad of money at him, like Jack Nicholson in The Departed. Get your arm fixed. Get your face fixed.
Buy yourself a towel.
Kyle threw 100 bits in, said, I'm sorry, what? Frankie was wrestling? Sorry, I was distracted by Elektra Lopez like the rest of Twitter. No, she wasn't wrestling. Yeah.
Who, Elektra Lopez?
No, Frankie Monet.
She was wrestling. She wrestled Elektra Lopez.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, what?
Apparently you were distracted too.
Oh, that's
was I the only person not distracted by Elektra Lopez?
Sorry.
My God. Yes, Anna. Ari Sterling was the multicolored haired whippersnapper who took it from Cameron Grimes. Sold it.
Anna
beautifully.
was also in attendance on Tuesday night.
She
again.
was jumping up. You could see her jumping up and down a few times.
Yep.
Yes. It makes it. She's probably one of the most animated people there. It's awesome. She get that crowd hype, Anna. They need it. They need it.
She
They
did
need
say
that energy.
earlier, where did she say? She can confirm that the crowd was absolutely cheering for Johnny, but they were piping crap in.
Right, which is, I mean, again, so that indicates they want to keep him heel. It's so easy to root for the guy. Right. He's such a natural babyface. It's so hard to keep him heel that even when he's being a heel and he's being funny, you just want to root for him. Yeah. Anyway, and finally, rest in peace, Everrise. They did have a little segment this week where they tried to spray paint Top Dolla's car. He was in the car, and they were like, "Well, you can't recognize us because we have ninja hoods on." He's like, "You're wearing Everrise shirts. I know who you are." Idiots.
Genius.
So they got their asses kicked by Hit Row in the ring later on. Kicked. And then kicked again for good measure.
And then released.
And then fired. So Hit Row kicking Everrise out of the company. And looking very, very strong indeed. Top Dollar, by the way, I gotta say, like, Ashanti's great. Obviously, you know we love Swerve on this show. Haven't seen enough of the young lady to really know how good she is, but I love her stage presence. Yo, Top Dollar's main eventer.
Totally.
That dude can go. He's gonna go a long damn way, and he's Vince sized.
He's
6'6",
offensive
310
lineman sized.
Yeah, he's
Vince a 300
sized.
pounder, I think, 280 something.
That's one of those ones. We do this sometimes with NXT. We did it with a few people. We did it with with Lacey Evans. We said it with Damian Priest.
Otis and Heavy Machinery.
Otis and Heavy Machinery. We're like, when Vince sees this one, he's going to steal it. It's going to be his toy. It's going to be that meme. Is this your toy?
Mine.
Yes, my toy. My toy now. Thank you for Top Dollar. Oh, you were doing something with them? I don't care. I own this company, pal. So that was NXT, Nick. Very good show this week. Very exciting. Lots of interesting twists, some new debuts, some fun stuff.
I got one more thing we need to talk about before we go over and do the mop.
Well, let's do it. What you got?
It's completely unrelated to either SmackDown or NXT. It's one thing I forgot to bring up in the big news because we were distracted by all of the releases.
Oh, my.
Unceremoniously today, Eva Marie was moved to the alumni page on the WWE website. Are we done with that already?
So the actual story here, it was done actually a while ago, and it might have been an error. Apparently, Sean Ross Sapp has actually inquired of them what's going on with that, if it's just a technical error, and we haven't heard back yet officially what's going on there. It's not the first time this kind of things happen.
Sure.
Where
they did it for Daniel Bryan, and everybody thought it was a goof, and then he was actually gone.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Jay said no, they fixed it. Okay, I was just curious. Yeah. I wanted to bring it up because I know how excited we've been to have her back.
A lot of people have been very, very excited to have Eva Marie back. No, yeah, it sounded like it was a technical glitch from day one. It didn't seem like, because it just the timing of everything just seemed like they just screwed up.
We were so excited about Dewdrop this Monday. So
we talk so often about how a lot of times the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing in WWE. Right. There's not a whole lot of synergy between a lot of the different facets of that company. Another example. Yeah. And they just fired most of their tech division, so their internet division. So there might be a couple of things that slipped through the cracks, y'all. They haven't really quite, I don't think they've rejiggered everything yet. So there you go. But Nick, that leaves us only one thing left to do, and that is go do a segment we like to call our moment of positivity.
Mop, 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 mop.
The mop, the moment of positivity. That's right. It's the time on the show we think back over the last few days of wrestling and try to come up with something positive, something fun, something happy, something that made us smile, something that we can share with all of you so that you too can go back out into the world smiling, happy, and positive, thinking about the things that are happy and not all the other crap. So, Nick, what was your moment of positivity for this week?
It was actually a little tough this week.
Really?
It was a little tough. I was trying to think of the things that like made me like gut laugh. And
Oh, God,
you can
don't you steal
certainly
mine.
look at the antics of the way, but the one thing, if I got to pick one thing, it's Pete Dunne breaking Austin Theory's fingers as he was pointing through the ropes at him. That's mine. That I literally LOL'd at that.
And his reaction was holding his hand
Right.
like, "Ah!"
Like his world is completely
Like he was
undone.
Quato.
Yeah. And then coming
It's
back
like
out and trying to take his gear off or trying to put it on or something and just giving
Right.
up. Yeah.
Totally overselling it the entire
Love it.
time. Beautiful.
Austin Theory
Beautiful.
is on a roll right now. I never saw him going down. I expected him to go straight to the top. But I have to say it's definitely excuse me, it's definitely gotten over on me.
My goodness.
With Austin Theory being a comedy goofball. So what about you, Surrey and Dangerous? What was your moment of positivity?
If I don't say Kyle O'Reilly and Kushida, I'm lying. I've been wanting those guys to face each other since Kushida came to NXT. I'm a huge fan of both guys, and as you all know, especially Kushida. So I was just sitting there the entire time like it was Christmas morning. Like hee. Awesome match. I can't wait to see the sequel. Hopefully they have a few more. Hopefully they have a trilogy, at least.
Yeah.
Give me more. Give me a takeover match. Give me 30 minutes with these guys.
Right.
Please. Oh God, please. Absolutely my moment of positivity. Great, fantastic match. Yeah, do yourself a favor, go watch it.
Well, there you go, guys. My voice is starting to fail on me, so it's about that time we get out of here.
As is mine. I got to go work now and yell at people in a loud bar. So
Hey.
wish me luck.
I'm
I'm really good at sign language.
Linktree.com/BWO is where you find all the links to all of our stuff. You can find brand new merch over there. You can find links to our YouTube and Facebook discussion groups. Over on YouTube, guys, hit that join button down below for just 99 cents a month. $1 a month, quick little contribution. You can get access to the loyalty badges, emojis, all kinds of stuff. And at the $5 and $10 tiers, right there, you get the same benefits that you get over on Patreon. So you guys that are watching on YouTube, you can throw in right there as well. Get some emojis, have some fun in chat while we're live. All kinds of good stuff for just 99 cents a month. Really good stuff. It helps support the show. And thank you guys for sharing the show, for hitting that like button, for following all of our different social channels, and sharing our videos across all of the social medias. It means the world and is one of the best ways to help get the word out about Busted Wide Open. We really appreciate you guys doing it. Shout out to everybody for all the bits and subs on Twitch. Shout out to everybody over on YouTube. What's going on, guys? I see Kyle snuck another one in over here. Ian, you want to read that one?
He did. Yes, he says he gave us 100 bits. Thank you, Kyle. He said, I have two mops. One, we're getting Walter versus Dragunov 2.
Oh, God.
Yes, in NXT this UK this week. Dragunov beat Rampage Brown and, Joe Coffey to become the number one contender for Walter. So, dear God, we're going to watch two humans try to kill each other with their bare hands again.
Jesus.
He also says, with all these releases, he says, prepare for war, boys. You ain't kidding. Second thing, he says, with all these releases the last 2 years, there's officially no second-tier wrestling promotion. Even MLW and Ring of Honor, the wrestling talent landscape is more balanced than it ever is, and talent have more power than ever. Put Walter and Dragunov out on in Vegas. That's a lot. Walter versus, put it on in SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll get me to buy a $500 ticket.
No shit.
I tried to get tickets and I was like,
No.
oh,
It was even worse for WrestleMania.
oh, yeah. I'm not sitting in nosebleeds at $100 a pop. Thank you though. And I think Kyle, it'll be more so once the 90 days are up. Like come September and October, the signings. Then we're going to see that what you're talking
What
about.
AEW's going to get up
When
to.
all the, when AEW, MLW, Ring of Honor, Impact, everyone going to all the, New Japan. All the people that are now locked down for 90 days, when they're released into the wild officially, oh my, it's going to be very
Landscape's
interesting.
going to shuffle.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Well, there you go, guys. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We'll see you guys on Tuesday covering AEW, whatever goes down tomorrow night on AEW Dynamite, plus Raw and other good stuff as well. So we'll see you guys on Tuesday. But until then, my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at DataCenterDude.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
But by God!
Would somebody stop the damn match?
This show is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Network. For more episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. For details and show notes from each episode, check us out, orbitaljigsaw.com.